We wrap up with the San Jose Sharks. Neil, to me, this club looks a lot like where Anaheim was a year ago. They didn't lose much, but they pick up the following players via trade and free agency. I'm going to start with goaltender Alex Nedeljkovic, trade with Pittsburgh. John Klingberg signs as a UFA from Edmonton, as does left wing Jeff Skinner. Adam Godette. There's a little bit of offense coming in from Ottawa. Philip Kurashev, who's not qualified by the Blackhawks, he signs with the Sharks. Nick Leddy claimed off waivers from St. Louis. Tough guy Ryan Reaves comes in a trade with Toronto. And I think the most significant add to this club, defenseman Dmitry Orlov signs for 2 years and $6.5 million as a UFA from Carolina.
Yeah, that is it. Orlov is a real good offensive defenseman. As you said, they get Skinner. He's a good offensive player. He's still got some gas in the tank, and they got Barclay Goodrow, who's winding down his career. I still don't think they have enough, though, to be a team that's going to bang on the door for the wild card spots. I think they're going to be in that last group. You know how we have the teams that are for sure in, then we have the bubble teams.
Yeah.
And then we have the group that's beneath the bubble teams, and I believe they're going to stay in that group beneath the bubble teams.
This club missed the playoffs for the 6th consecutive season last year. Last overall, only 52 points. But I could conceivably see this team escaping the bottom quarter of the NHL and maybe moving up overall into that 22, 23, 24 area in the league standings, because there's a lot of young talent on this club. And we need to start with Macklin Celebrini, the first overall pick in the 2024 entry draft. 63 points in 70 games. You got to remember that he missed his 12 games right after opening night. He was injured opening night, missed 12 more, and then played the rest of the season from that. And we talked in the Central Division Summer Cooler about his game compared to Connor Bedard. And I like his 200-foot game much better than the Chicago Center.
Oh, I do too. But he doesn't maybe have that high-end offensive skill level that Bedard has, but he's got a more complete game, I believe, when I watch the two of them play. And I don't know, Vic, I don't really agree with you that this team is can move up that high in the National Hockey League ladder. I think they're still going to struggle. Their goaltending. What do you think of their goaltending? Now, we tore apart the last goaltenders. They've got Askarov, and Nedeljkovic is the Mr. Inconsistency if there ever was one. And Askarov, I don't know him that well to say what he is.
He came in last year with a lot of fanfare. He's got a lot of flair to his game. And he was a guy that came over from Nashville because he wasn't getting playing time there. He was going to get playing time here. By the way, I should note also that the goaltender that finished in that number 1 slot for them a year ago, Alexander Georgiev, is still without a contract. So be interested if perhaps he comes back as a number 3, because the Sharks have a lot of money in terms of salary cap space. So I think there's worse goaltending in the NHL. We just talked about Seattle. I would take Askarov and Nedeljkovic over Grubauer and Decourt. I'll start there.
Okay, that's fair. That's fair. I would rather see San Jose with Georgiev than Nedeljkovic, but maybe that's just it's pie in the sky dreaming on my part, because Georgiev did have some decent nights with Colorado and was pretty good as a young guy in New York. I don't understand why Georgiev, his game has dropped off the way it has. But anyway, we're talking about the Sharks. Yeah, I'd take Nedeljkovic and Askarov over the goaltending that we saw just now in Seattle.
Not to get too far away from the subject of the Sharks, but I could also see a guy like Georgiev perhaps signing in Calgary. to give them a little bit more depth because they certainly don't have a lot behind Dustin Wolf. But we digress because I also want to talk about another player that had a really strong second half last year, and he slotted in as the number 2 center behind Celebrini, and that's Will Smith.
Yeah, Will Smith, number 2 on this jersey as a centerman. Wears it because of Brian Leach. I got to get that in again, as they were big fans of Brian Leach's dad was. And no, him and Celebrini are the future of this club. There's no doubt about that. And how high can they go with their skill level and their offensive production? I think sky's the limit for these guys. They're good players, and they're trying to surround them with the best they can while they develop.
A couple of veterans will be playing on Smith's flank this year. Projected Jeff Skinner on the left side, Adam Godette on the right, and I like that Godette signing a lot. And Celebrini will be joined on the top line with Tyler Toffoli on the right and William Eklund, who re-signs as an RFA, 3 years, $5.6 million AAV. They got a couple of prospects in the system also, Sam Dickinson and Quentin Musty. So this is one of the best prospect pools in the NHL. And there is promise here. I think there's light at the end of this tunnel for Mike Grier and the Sharks franchise. I thought Ryan Warsofsky did a really commendable job behind the bench as a rookie head coach. I think he's going to grow well with this club. And are they a playoff team? No. Are they going to be the worst team in the NHL? I think certainly not this year. I think they're going to be much improved, maybe get to that 70-point area. And I do think there is finally reasons for optimism in the Bay Area.
I think that it should be a lot of optimism for the Sharks while they try to build this thing up. As we just said, Celebrini and Will Smith are 2 of the finest young NHLers in the league. And as you said too about Askarov, he asked his way out of Nashville because he said, if I'm not going to be on the team, I don't want to wait to be in the NHL. I think I should be in the NHL now. And Askarov, and you shall receive. He asked, and here he is starting in San Jose.
How much of a cover charge to see you perform tonight?
I'm here all week.
That wraps up the 2025 NHL Wraparound Summer Coolers. Neil, we have gone through 32 teams. And as you had said at the beginning, we hope that we are educating, we're informing everybody of everything that took place in terms of player movement, what we expect. We try to be objective as possible with every club. We try to look at the positives, we try to look at the negatives, and we give our honest assessment. And I believe that we have accomplished that this year.
I think so.
Not that we didn't last year.
No. I think we have, and I don't look at anybody through rose-colored glasses, and I don't have any bias against any teams in the league. I just try to look at factually what's gone on with them, how much of the teams either improved or not improved. Are they getting closer to their goal? Everybody, as we just said, if you look at the league, you've got the upper echelon in every division. And those are the teams that are hoping that somehow they can get to the Stanley Cup. Then you've got the bubble teams that are trying just to get into the playoffs and displace a playoff team. And then you've got the lower group that are just going to see how good they can be. But they know they're not a playoff team, or they don't think they will be, but they're going to see how much they've improved, how much closer they are to being a playoff team.